Hey there, it's Mia. I'm here to do a little sharing. I said I wanted to make sure that I share some things as I move throughout my daily activity and how I do things to make it easier in my personal life, in my workspace. And one thing that a lot of people call me and ask me about is how I use AI. It's so cute. I mean, they sit and they listen and take notes. And I'm like, no, you can't take notes. Let's get in it. Let's play around with it. Let's talk to it. Let's get your AI to know who you are, how you move, what you do. It just makes things easier. And so I did a little test. I was watching the news. No, that's not true. I was reading one of my newsletters that kind of summarizes the news. And I always like to stay on top of, what's happening in different industries and, what the hiring models look like. I get asked a lot on LinkedIn about my thoughts behind certain things, how to move with employees, things employers should do, work culture, so on and so forth. And I honestly don't even know how I ended up being one of those people that always gets asked insights, but I do love to share. And so I wanted to share a little video as I'm doing something AI related on how I use AI and the thinking behind my prompts. And so, as I mentioned before, there's been a lot of directorships that I've had, but as a former HR director, I've always had a habit of listening closely to what industries are actually looking for. I pay attention to a lot of the trigger words, new titles, new role descriptions, shifts in how companies talk about talent. And when I hear the same language show up over and over again, I research it. And that's how I kind of stay on top of things, even though I'm not in a corporate workspace anymore or work for an employer. I do like to understand the talent that's being hired because the work that I do work a lot with other companies and the talent that they have. And so I like to understand who they're hiring, what their models look like. And that's how I've always stayed ahead, by understanding where work is going, not just where it's been. And as an artificial intelligence has grown, I started hearing the same thing repeatedly. Employers aren't necessarily looking for people who use AI. They're looking for people who understand the shift that AI represents. And that's really important. It's not the tools, it's not the trends, but the change in how work thinking and execution happens. I also know that post-COVID, there's a lot of companies that hire fractional employees. Fractional work and project-based development became extremely unpopular. When you don't have to hire someone, provide benefits, pay hourly salaries, it makes it a lot easier, especially for companies in that middle space, to really move and scale the way they need to if they can figure out the right way to bring on people who have certain talents and skill sets to help their companies move. And so companies want access to expertise without overhiring. You see professionals that want flexibility without losing impact, and real development now happens in cycles and not in ladders, which was how it happened traditionally. So naturally, I started searching, and I searched for new gig platforms, fractional work marketplaces, AI adjacent roles, emerging job titles that didn't exist a few years ago. And at the same time, I'm constantly being asked for advice by people who are still looking for jobs. They ask me all the time, what should I be searching for now? What should I be calling myself? How do I position my experience in this new landscape? And as I was doing this research for others, I just realized something. I wanted to know where I fit. And I do that often because I still do get people will call me and say, hey, someone's looking for somebody like you. Or I still have Indeed running. I don't even know. It must be in one of my old email accounts. But either way, it'll say Indeed, LinkedIn. It'll say, hey, there's things, this job, you seem to qualify for it, blah, 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 blah. So I keep it active just to see what's going on out there. But as I said, let me see where I fit, because I'm always training myself. I'm always building. I'm always evolving. So I turned the question inward. What category do my skills actually fall into now? What do employers think they're hiring versus what they actually need? That question led me to sit straight back to how I use AI. Through my company, AI is not a separate service. It's embedded into everything we do. People ask me all the time what prompts I use, and I always pause because it's different, right? A lot of people try to discredit you or the work you do because, that's AI. And I'm like, yeah, but that's AI with my brain, because the prompt is never the most important part, right? The real power comes from your brain working with AI, not AI working instead of you. AI doesn't make you dynamic, you make AI dynamic. If you don't know what you're building, why you're building it, who it's for, or how it needs to function, AI will just give you noise. It'll just give you what it thinks that you're thinking about. But my prompts work because they come from years of strategy work, system building, operations, program design, and execution across the multiple industries I've worked in over the last 20 plus years. AI didn't give me that thinking, it amplifies it. So at my company, I don't write random prompts. I build prompt systems. Each system is designed around one core question. What outcome are we trying to produce? So I always start at the end and work my way back. It's something I've done even since I was a little girl. It's kind of like a puzzle, right? You see the picture, you figure out the edges, and you work yourself inward. It's the same thing. So that question shapes everything. I use AI in a few key ways. First, strategy prompts. These help clarify direction. They help define scope. They pressure test ideas. They map phases and identify gaps. In this lane, AI becomes a thinking partner, not the thinker. Second, operations and SOP prompts. These prompts help turn knowledge into systems. They document my process. They standardize my workflows. They produce friction for teams. The output isn't theory, it's usable structure. And the last one is AI enablement prompts. These are like really role-based, like leadership prompts, operations prompts, administrative prompts, content prompts. Each one is designed so people know exactly how to use AI within their role, not generically, not randomly, their role. And the last one, execution prompts, because you have a plan, but if you can't execute it, then what are we here for, right? These are the prompts that move things forward. They turn plans into action steps. They clean up drafts. They align outputs to brand, tone, and purpose. They reduce back and forth. This is where speed comes from, without chaos. What most people miss, my skill set is not AI expertise. My skill set is system thinking, execution, structure, translation. AI revealed for me specifically, because of how I use it, my role has naturally evolved into a systems architect, an operations strategist, a fractional AI and execution partner, someone who installs clarity, not just tools. AI didn't change who I am, it clarified what I do best. So the experience with AI just kind of helps navigate who I am and how I utilize these systems to help build other systems. This is why the job titles are shifting. Companies don't really want prompt engineers. They want people who can make AI usable inside their business. They want people who understand how work flows, where decisions live, and how humans and machines really should collaborate. If you're using AI and it feels overwhelming, here's the truth. You don't need better prompts. You need clear thinking. When your brain is trained to do these things, to define outcomes, build structure, understand flow, and respect human judgment, AI becomes very powerful and fast. That's the work that I do with my company. So when people ask me where they fit in this new AI-driven world, my answer is simple. Don't chase tools, don't chase titles, train your thinking, build your structure, then let AI amplify that. If you want more behind-the-scenes looks at how I design prompts, how we build AI-assisted systems, and how to use AI without losing your voice or control, subscribe to this video, and leave a comment. I would be more than grateful to just walk you through it. And if you're building something complex and needs structure, you already know where to find us. My company, Gravity Works. This is what we do. It's scientific. Hope that helps. I think I'm going to share some simple prompts to just kind of help trigger what works. But hey, yeah, I'm here. So subscribe, please feel free to share, DM me. You can follow me at When Monday Comes on Instagram. Our company doesn't really use social media, but I am here. I love to show and share the tools that I use and how I kind of, do the work that I do. Thanks. Have a great one. Bye-bye.